We have a
Okay.
kind of nice sunset, but the colors aren't coming through.
Well, we'll keep working on it. And we'll keep going with Giving Day Live. Welcome back. It is 5:35 on the East Coast, United States, that is. As there certainly are many other East Coasts out there, and we've been visiting with them throughout the morning. And we are back with another one, another visit from Rose Tanasugarn from the class of 1990. That's right, Rose, isn't it?
Yes, that's correct. And hello from the far east. I'm in Kobe, Japan, and Ohayo gozaimasu to you, Keith. But for us, it's about 6:30 in the evening, and we have a really nice sunset. Not quite as nice as the Ithaca ones, but it's looking pretty colorful.
Well, they are nice sunsets when you can see them, when they're not hiding behind
Blizzards in April.
lizards and cloud cover and all that fun stuff. So, Rose, you joined us last year actually
Thank
for our first Giving Day.
you.
Oh well, you're a returning champion. We have to have you back. Uh, so, tell us a little bit about what's the alumni scene like in Japan right now in Kobe.
Kobe, so to describe a little bit about the Cornell Club of Japan and the alumni in Japan, we have about 1,200 in Japan. Most of them are in the Tokyo area, but we do have a small group of Kansai, which is West Japan alumni, and we had a gathering in Osaka in February, and we had about 30 or 40 alumni and friends. But I just was in Tokyo last Friday for the annual general meeting, and we had about 80 alumni and friends in Tokyo. And our Cornell Club president has just stepped down after 15 years of dedicated service. He is a Board of Trustees member, Chiaki Tanuma, and we're very indebted to him for his generosity and his leadership over the last 15 years. And taking over for him is Amane Nakashima, who is the president of Kewpie Mayonnaise. You may or may not have heard of Kewpie, but it's a very, very tasty mayonnaise. And of course, Cornellians only use Kewpie mayonnaise.
Is there any other kind of mayonnaise?
No. So
Well, that's great.
yeah, so I just got back from Tokyo Monday morning, but the other exciting thing was Sunday afternoon, we met with two of the five students that have been accepted to Cornell, and we're trying to gently convince the undecided student why he should attend, and I think we got him to commit to Cornell.
Well, that's great. Thank you for all the work you do on that front. What possible reason could someone have to be indecisive about Cornell?
I really don't know, especially this particular student was accepted to the architecture program, and he's been named a Rawlings Presidential Research Scholar. So, and to
That's
me,
good
it's a
company.
no-brainer. It's a no-brainer to me, but he said there are two other schools that he's thinking about, and I think he's very mature for his age, and I think he's taking his time to find out about things. And I offered to put him in touch with the younger architecture alum who is working with Tadao Ando, who is a very renowned modern Japanese architect, and hopefully our alum can sway him a little bit more.
You know, what is it like, you know, working with or talking with prospective students? And I would imagine, do they have a lot of questions about, traveling that far away to go to school? And how do you kind of relate your own experience to reassure them that it's a good decision?
Right. So I always relay my own experience as a high school student. Both my parents were immigrants to the US, so I didn't know anything about US colleges. I didn't know about the Ivy League. I didn't know Cornell was an Ivy League. And it was an accident that I wound up at Cornell, but it was a happy accident. And I just always tell them, okay, you're a high school student now. You're so focused on your 4 years as a college student, as I was when I was your age. But now that I'm a lot older, I realize that the student experience is only 4 or 5 years, whereas the alumni experience is a lifetime.
Right.
And there's something to be said about joining a school such as Cornell with such a passionate alumni body. And in Japan, they have nicknamed us the Cornell Mafia because we have so many hoteliers, a lot of prominent hoteliers and Johnson School graduates, and often this common bond of Cornell gets business deals done a lot quicker and a lot smoother than if you're not part of the Cornell Mafia.
You don't want to get on our bad side.
No, definitely not.
Well, that's great. It's really, I think sometimes, from where we sit in the United States, we always talk about Cornell being a global institution and having a global community because we know it's true, but we don't always see the individual stories like you're sharing, where it really is a vibrant, thriving international community,
Right.
especially in Japan, as you've said, and in other areas of Asia. The Cornell Club of the Philippines is over 100 years old. I mean, I think
Yep.
that's incredibly impressive.
Yeah, actually, the Cornell Club of Japan celebrated its 150th last year. And
Wow.
there's an unknown Cornellian, actually Japan's first Cornellian. He's actually the guy that started California wine country. And the reason that he's unknown is because he was only at Cornell for a year before he moved from upstate to Santa Rosa, where he started Fountain Grove. And his story is really remarkable. So he snuck out of Japan when he was 13. This is when it was still illegal to leave the country, and he was one of maybe 20 young people that were sent to the UK by the Satsuma clan in Kagoshima to learn about modern technology. And because he was too young to go to college, he wound up living in Scotland with the grandparents of a major person in Japanese history. His name is Glover, I think. But anyway, so when the Satsuma clan ran out of money, he happened to meet this preacher that offered him the chance to go to found this utopian society in Utica. And rather than go back to Japan, he went to upstate New York. And they decided that they would make wine to support this colony. And so that's how California wine country got started. But again, nobody knows this story very well.
You better be careful. You're going to put Corey Earl out of a job with stories like that.
But no, I'm sure Corey probably knows it too. But the really funny thing is a lot of people think I'm a hotelier because I work for a hotel, but actually I'm an arts and sciences major, and I had a minor in international relations. And the reason I got my job is because my hotel is owned by a hotelier. And we hosted the G8 environmental ministers meeting 8 years ago. And that's when he invited me to join the staff to not only teach English to the staff, but also to help liaise with government VIPs and things like that. So this January, we had the honor of welcoming Ambassador Caroline Kennedy for an event here at the hotel. And she stayed overnight and she really had a good time. And we're also hosting the the G7 Health Ministers meeting in September. So yeah, I never thought my major would come in like handy at a hotel, but there you go.
Well, you know, we talked with a couple other alums earlier in the morning, and as if shocking that it could be earlier than it is right now, but there was earlier in the morning, 4 or 5 hours ago, and they talked about how, you know, they really try to, you know, when they talk with current students, they really try to encourage them to be active and reach out to the alumni community, because it really is a supportive community when it comes to job searching and business to business opportunities. And it sounds like you've benefited from that as well.
Definitely, and I'm paying it back. Actually, there was a student that we sent off 3 years ago, and she just contacted me a couple weeks ago and asked if I could help find her an internship. And it turns out the CEO of a major shop channel, television shopping channel, happens to be a Cornell alum. And so I asked him, does your company have any interest in hosting an intern for the summer? And so now they're in talks, and hopefully she'll have an internship for a couple months.
That's great. I think you are in line for maybe the next president there of the Cornell Club.
No, thanks.
No, I should not nominate you for that.
No, I'm happy to be a support player.
Well, you certainly are that. You know, above and beyond, and you know, it's always fun for me to talk with you in this capacity because I was 2 weeks on the job in June of 2011, where we did one of our earlier live stream broadcasts. It was Cornelliana night.
Yep.
And I think you were maybe the only one of the only people talking in the chat. we were so excited to hear that you were watching from Japan. It was like, look at this technology thing. It can work. They're watching in Japan. And it was, and, you know, as the years would go on, we would get to know more about this wonderful woman named Rose. So thanks so much again for all you do. And you said you had a crazy story for how you ended up at Cornell. Is this a story that can be shared, or?
Yeah, for sure. So
I didn't know if we need to censor anything.
No, not at all. So the summer before my senior year, I was on a, what would you call it? It was a program for Thai American students to get in touch with their roots. And it's a pilot program. And so I spent, I think, a week in Thailand with a lot of other Thai American students as a guest of, I think she was the wife of the commander-in-chief of the army at the time. So we got to meet one of the princesses. Actually, we met the mother of the princess, who is a Cornell law alum. But this was way back in '85. So I think the alum, the princess who is alum was probably about 8 or 9 at the time. But anyway, so during this trip, I met somebody who was going to be an incoming freshman in engineering. And after I got back to California, I guess based on my PSAT scores, I received a pre-application from Cornell. And I just, on a whim, I decided to apply, but only to see if I could get in. I really didn't have any intention of going to Cornell. And so at the time I was pre-med, and I was accepted to UC Riverside, which had a 7-year med program with UCLA Medical School. I had a Regent scholarship all lined up. And so I was talking to my high school economics teacher one day, and I said, oh, you know, I got the Regent scholarship, and, you know, I got a scholarship at Berkeley. Oh, and then this came from Cornell. It's like the Cornell National Scholar. And he's like, what? You got into Cornell? I said, yeah. He's like, you got into Cornell? If I had a daughter, she'd be going to Cornell. And so I was like, oh, okay. And then I talked to my other teacher, who was my English teacher, and whose advice I really admired and or really respected. And I also asked her, what do you think I should do? And she said, well, you know, I really think you should go to Cornell. And so I had already signed the letter of intent to Riverside. I think I had already mailed the deposit in. I hadn't even applied for financial aid at Cornell because I really had no intention of going. And I told my mom, well, you know, my teachers think I should go to Cornell. And my mom was very un-Asian about it. And she said, well, I guess you should go to Cornell. So that was my accidental Cornellian story.
And the rest is history.
Yes, the rest of history. So, yeah, I didn't make the pre-med cut at Cornell. I got weeded out, but it was a good challenge, and you know, I'm happy to say my lowest grade at Cornell was a C minus. So
That's I think that's something to
everything.
brag about.
Averagely brilliant, as they say.
Well, I think you continue to show your brilliance in terms of the value that you offer your alma mater with all the work that you do. And so we're very thankful of that. Very thankful of that. So before I let you go, it is Giving Day. So, you know, this is a big election season in America. It's primary day in New York State. So endorsements are a hot commodity. So what area of Cornell on Giving Day is getting the Rose endorsement?
I am. So I checked the challenge, and I will be the 43rd international alumni to make a gift. I think, is it 150 that we need to unlock the bonus?
We need 350 international gifts. We're at 44 right now.
Ooh, so I'll be the 45th international alum to give a gift. But because it's so hard for international students to receive scholarships, I'm going to be giving my gift to the International Student Scholarship Fund. And I'll be doing this in memory of President Garrett, who was also very passionate about possibly getting more international students to Cornell. And from what I heard, she's very supportive of many things, including student scholarships. And student scholarships are exactly why I was able to attend Cornell. And I think part of the reason that I'm so involved as an alumni is just to give back to Cornell for everything that Cornell has made possible for me.
Well, you've definitely done that many times over, and we really appreciate you continuing to do so. We appreciate your support on Giving Day. It's just I always look forward to speaking with you, both when we're on the air broadcasting to the whole world and when we're just talking on Facebook about Cornell stuff. So thanks so much again for all your support and for always willing to help out and to cheer us on in the social media and digital media space.
It's my pleasure, Keith, and thank you for making it all possible with your technological wizardry.
Oh, the machines do all the work, Rose. You know that. But thank you so much, and we'll be back in 7 minutes. But first, a quick little update of where we're at. We're at $106,086. So a really nice start to Giving Day. 410 gifts are in. So we've eclipsed the $400 or 400 gift mark. And just a reminder that all over social media today, you can be using the Cornell Giving Day hashtag. That's Cornell Giving Day. And then also be sharing those big red selfies on Instagram.
Yes, I will be doing that as soon as I hang up with you.
Okay, well, look for Rose's big red selfie on Instagram. Hashtag big red selfie on Instagram. Want to see your beautiful big red faces out there today on Giving Day. And a little bit later, if you keep watching, we have a handful of giveaways, including this year's Giving Day T-shirt, which I think is pretty awesome.
Can never
We
have
might
enough.
have one with your name on it, Rose.
Thanks.
All right. Well, we'll be back in about 5 minutes. And until then, enjoy more of our Giving Day Live little video shorts. We'll be back real soon.
Bye.